Welcome to Tank Tuesday, joined here by Captain Judo and Militia and Splinter. I'm Paul. Jake can't be with us, so we're going to fill in with him. We're talking about tanks that we adore and love. I'm going to force you, Mia, to go first. Yeah. Tanks you adore and love?
Force me to go first.
Yep.
Oh, man. We'll start with the Tier 10, E100. Love that tank.
Start at Tier 10.
Start at Tier 10.
Big boss.
Go to the Tier 8 IS-3.
Right, which is a mainstay.
Yep. And then the M4 with the derp.
What I like about that is they're all tanks I have.
Good. Everybody should have those three tanks.
Their library.
In the library of tanks, you should have those tanks.
They're your go-tos. I'm just going to cover some lower tiers because I sense big, heavy tiers coming in from the big boys here. Tier 3, Panzer 1C.
Yep.
Little go-kart, flips over, it's got a noisemaker. I quite like the T-46 on the Russian line, so it unlocks everything. That's cool. And I've got the Cruiser 4 with the Bofors guns.
Yeah, you're amazing.
You're really good at that tank. I've watched you play that tank.
Yeah, that's my mounting gun tank. I like that tank a lot. But there's a low tiers out the way. And then your go-tos?
Mid-tiers, KV2 for sure. KV2 all day, every day.
Everywhere.
I say, if you want adrenaline rush,
Well,
KV2 is the way
every
to
20
go.
seconds.
Yeah, every 20 seconds. Know how to use it. But you'll just frustrate your opponent because he thinks that, he's hold down, you can't be hit, and then, man, it splashes right in front
I don't
of
know.
him.
Once you've gone a couple, like you just see a KV2 and you go, I'm just going to go the other way.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
turned the corner on a KV2 once and gone, oh, crap.
It's going to
And
hurt.
just waited for it.
The bright white flash.
Yeah.
But then you got 20-second reloads. You can sit there and slap
if
them
you're
around
still
if you had
alive.
to.
I mean,
Which shell do you shoot?
Oh, the HE one.
HE all
for
the
sure,
way.
of course.
Of course you do.
normally
Yeah.
not recommended, despite what people may say.
Yeah.
But in
In this case, it
Yeah, so
definitely.
other than the big brutish KV2, where do you go next?
I like that line. So IS, because IS plays like a really tough medium, but still a heavy. You can get in and out of engagements pretty
It has
quick.
good speed, especially the IS line, good speed.
Yeah.
For what they can do, they
A
are
lot of
mobile.
Russian love, I'm sensing.
Oh,
And then, are you just
definitely.
going to keep going up?
I
the
am,
line?
exactly. You read my mind. T-10. At first, I hated it. I hated it.
That's the old IS-8, right?
Right. But after I started to, look at my opponent list and play it like a medium, okay, all the mediums are going here, it's going to join them.
yeah.
Then suddenly, the thing was way buffer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Way
so you
better than
wolf pack
expected.
with mediums with
Right.
it, and then all the other people who are ragging on you because you're the heavy that's gone the wrong way, you ignore them.
That
But
happened last night. I was so upset.
It's fast enough it
Yeah.
can keep up. It can't keep up.
I haven't got it yet. That's one of those ones
I
held
have
off
30
by.
games in it. I used it for the Beat the Meat
gonna say,
challenge.
beat the meat.
When I went 6, 2, and 1. Just throwing it out there. I used the T-10. It is
Nice.
a great tank.
Yep.
So it was your one-on-one tank.
It was
for
my
Tier
one-on-one
9.
tank.
Yeah.
Well, as we zoom up to Tier 9s again, a little shout out for Tier 4s. SU-85B as a TD Russian, I think it's pretty good. Hetzer. Hetzer's going to Hetz. We need to know how to play it,
Classic.
but they put the right gun on it, you can have a great time. T40, which is an M3 Lee with all the bad bits removed.
There's nothing wrong with an M3 Lee.
The Matilda, I think, is a class Tier 4.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with
Sure.
that.
You want to? Matilda's like you run into it. You first learn about armor and you go, what the heck?
I think Matilda's really good. So there you are, but rolling on from that, what your
Well, so
picks?
then gets my favorite, which is Tier 5s. American TDs, pretty much
In a
universally.
shock move,
Yeah.
American TD.
I was gonna say Wolverine and T67 are like my two go-tos. Wolverine's my favorite. Super fast firing, pretty
The
accurate.
smile he's got going
I love
on.
that
He's like
tank.
talking
So,
about it. It's like kids.
Give a little bit of insight about how you deal with your Wolverine and like.
Oh, so Wolverine, really good gun, does a lot of damage, really accurate. Downsides is traverse is not very good, so people get confused a lot with fast TDs, and they're like, oh, I'm fast, I feel like I have to use the speed, I have to go up to the front lines, and the Wolverine just doesn't have the traverse to do that, so if you get too far up, you just get wrecked because you can't keep up with them. So you gotta stay back, you gotta play it like a TD, and you'll just get rewarded with tons of damage, and I love it.
It's because its turret turns incredibly slowly.
Yeah, it's slow.
So you're out of position
Right.
all the time. So do
So
you turn it with the tracks?
If I have
Get
to.
it right.
To go
Ideally,
quicker, you have to,
yeah,
for sure.
Ideally, I don't have to move. I'm just in the back, just laying down, just destroying people. Sorry.
You're that
Look at
person.
this.
I love that
They're
tank.
just like,
Until
I
they start
love the
capping, right? Until they start capping and just taking everybody out. You go,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and
jeez."
then
And then the T67,
T67
is
is
one of those players.
is similar, and it has the speed problem even more. It's super fast, so it's really good. If you know exactly where to go, you can get into cool places and get camo. It's got good camo and a gun that is also amazing, but has the same problem where you're tempted to go scout and you're like, I'm fast, I'll be in the front lines, and you get wrecked. But played well the T67. I got my first Ravi Walters in
Oh,
the
nice.
T67.
And then
Congrats.
you are the person who loves the incredibly slow T28 prototype.
Yes.
I like that too.
I do
that?
love
Who's
that
that
tank.
guy? Although it's stock, you just went to kill
Yeah,
yourself.
so I grinded that tank because I didn't know better, and so I grinded through the engine, and I grinded through everything about that tank, and that is a grind. Like, and you feel it because it is so slow, and you're just like, this. It feels like a grind when you're playing, and it is a grind, but it can be really cool.
And the Top Gun's amazing.
Top Gun is amazing, and if you know how to angle it and take your corners correctly, it can do really well for you.
Nice depression, right, for a TD especially.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's surprisingly bouncy from the front as well.
Yeah, its armor is really good in the front if you can angle it, and it's got some weak points, which if a player knows where to hit you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But against people who don't know exactly how to take it, you can
Well, I
do
like
a
what
lot
your
of
choice
damage.
is that they are down a very particular
Yes.
TDs.
I have
all
a
the way.
certain preference.
Nothing but TDs. Well, I mean, they're good. Shout out to Tier 5s, because again, we're not going to
Yep.
AT2. It's an armored brick that
Yep.
fires elastic bands. I enjoyed it tremendously. KV1, should all be ashamed of yourself for not bringing it up. Greatest Tier 5 heavy the world's ever
Definitely.
seen.
If you're gonna get a heavy, KV1's the one to start with.
The ELC.
Yeah.
I want to like that tank.
You know, so I
want-
saw it. It ran around. It's like does drive-by shootings
Yep.
with its sawn-off shotgun. I immediately went, used all my free XP, unlocked it. I'm dreadful with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that happens too often.
I rarely play that. The only time I play it is on the Reddit nights where they have racing because
I
it
get-
goes fast.
I get
That's
very
the only reason I
confused.
carry it around.
As a TD player, I'm like, it's a super fast scout with a TD long range gun. It's very confusing.
I
to
don't
me.
like that, and I don't like the T49.
T49.
Oh, the
No,
T49.
it's
The
Yeah, well-
Scout with the KV1,
Yeah.
KV2 gun.
It's kind of cool.
You probably love
it goes
Yeah,
kaboom.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You
Actually,
run
you're pretty
around.
good with your lights, right?
Yeah, no, I love the lights. I mean, the ELC, you have to remind yourself how hard it is to hit because it's so small and so
Yeah.
quick. So you put yourself in that situation. I was a bad, terrible player at first, and I would just Sue Scout. But it was so funny to watch your opponent trying to hit you as you're just driving through everybody and coming back
It's one of the
alive.
first tanks you get that's got like the limited hold
Yeah.
aiming, which you're not used to. Can't actually turn all
Yep.
the way around.
Unless you played the M3 Lee, then you're adverse in that.
Well, that is true. And then you actually like loads of the sort of mid to high tier lights as well.
Yeah, and this one's not a light, but for me, when I'm playing against it, it reminds me of a light, the E25. If you can get your hands on an E25, do it because that thing's so
Put
hard
it
for me
back
to
on
kill.
sale. Actually,
I-
we should talk about premiums for a while. Yeah, the
Yeah.
E25 is nice. So I like the Churchill 3
Okay.
because it was it's tier 5. It's
a good all-round.
preferential matchmaking, which makes you very happy.
Yeah.
Point it forward and just go.
Well, it taught me that heavies might be a way to go. I mean, it doesn't have a heavy gun as a pew-pew gun, but that whole trundle forward, angle, bounce, survive, make mistakes. And from that's how I got into heavy. So I like that.
Yeah.
What's yours?
The Patton KR, like it totally clicked for me when I started playing it. I usually don't like mediums, and it was kind of like a crossover tank for me because obviously I like TDs a lot. That's what I went down the American TD line, and then the KR has a good gun, is pretty accurate, but also plays like a medium, and so it was kind of crossover for me. And I started liking mediums after I started playing it. But
Was it like widened? What was
yeah,
it like playing?
it eased me into a style that I wasn't comfortable with before, and now I am. And there's a bunch of mediums I
That's
like
a good
now
point
because of it.
because it does play like that.
Spoken like the monetization guy. I like that. Buy that tank. And I'll just-
I'd buy that tank.
Hey, I haven't talked about the starter bundle, so
yours
there's at least
yours
that.
is going to be.
The IS-6. It's my most played tank in World of Tanks. I think I'm almost at 1,000 battles in it.
I think pound for pound, tier for tier, gold spend for gold spend, the IS-6
Oh yeah.
is the
And the credit return on that thing
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
it's an amazing tank to play.
The guns,
Super fun.
The gun you can get over. The armor is ridiculous.
And mainly because your opponents usually don't know how to hit you,
Yep.
so you can take advantage of that for
And
a
the
long time.
preferential matchmaking helps too.
Yeah.
Whereas I know what you're going to pick.
KV5 for
KV5.
sure. I'm not sure when it's going to be available. But
But
definitely,
he'll fix that.
if it's there, get
wink,
it.
wink.
Might be
nudge,
coming up.
nudge.
So the KV5 is what you get if you get a KV4 and make it even bigger and even heavier.
hmm
And with the exception of the R2D2
R2D2.
weakness at the front.
And I think it's a little more agile than the KV4 from what I remember. But what I like the most about KV5, it's a lot faster than people give it credit for. It's just going downhill and
Yeah, when it's
around.
going down because
Yeah.
it's so large, it's going
Exactly, for
downhill.
sure.
It's
Well,
like,
it's got the really high turret, so you can do some cool things with
Yeah.
cover and.
now, do you
hopefully
drive it
covering up.
backwards?
I did sometimes,
Okay.
but we were talking about this, the little R2D. So I just found how to move it correctly enough
Okay.
so that people would always miss. But the best part of it was I was just using it to grind crew all the time, just
Right,
so
yeah,
it does
so
like
grind,
you
a-
grind
yeah.
my Russian
Yeah.
crew.
Well, that's good. So they're all the tanks we have. Other things noted, I'm the only one of us who plays on the East Coast server.
That doesn't make any sense. We're on the West Coast.
I'm East Coast. I can't help it.
At
Can't-
work, I enjoy our 3 ping. At
you,
home, I enjoy my 10 to 20 ping.
you can't TD with high ping.
And I'm
It's
also
just-
the only person who logs in with their drinking account to see how Matchmaker's behaving.
Test it out.
See whether it's misbehaving. But you also have a warm up tank. like
Yeah,
I do.
I do the M44 is my warm up tank because it's very forgiving, and it's low pressure, and then I work my way up to my light tanks like my Black Dog. I have to be in the zone, otherwise I'm just gonna.
Well, that
That's
tank's
another
terrible.
tank
yeah.
you can buy, right?
Yeah. That
Yes.
tank is, yeah.
I think
Yeah. To be fair,
I
that is
play a lot of premiums so that I know what to sell.
As a high
It's a great tank.
that light is pretty good.
And you think starting with an RT is sacrilege?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you would do that.
Because it's
I
a
play
warm up
artillery.
tank.
I just don't know why you would start with artillery as your warm up.
Well, because it's you can play with one hand, so you
No, I
warm up
get
this
that.
hand,
I get
and then you
that.
warm up the other hand, and then you play your hard.
Maybe it reminds you all the places not to be when
Yeah.
when you stop
Don't
playing
save
artillery.
them.
I don't know.
I know he's one of those folks too. Don't save him.
Well, I do it so that I've got a hand free.
Ah,
So
yes, for
that
the McAllen.
Just figuring out what I'm going to do for the evening, and I'm checking if just how badly behaved Matchmaker.
He's working up to a good buzz
Yeah.
with his artillery, and then he gets there and plays everything else.
Yeah, then you take your KV1 and your Cruiser 4
Yeah.
and have a great time.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I take the T29 out after because it's very forgiving.
Talk
So
about that tank.
it's great. T29 is amazing.
Oh, quick
It
tip.
is a great tank.
We'll be doing a podcast later about heavy lines. He quite rightly avoids on the American heavy line avoids the T1 and the M6 by going the Sherman route.
I
Right?
do. I go north.
So pro tip: if you think of American heavies, save yourself a lot of pain.
Go north.
Go north and then come back on the T29, which is the worst tank in the game.
If your name is Paul Burnett.
If you're against it,
It's a great tank.
Thank you very much. That's Tank Tuesday. Join us next week. We're going to have another one. Look out for the podcast. You've got to say.
Please subscribe. Please.
And then we're back again.
Please.
We've got Wargaming Wednesday and Focus Friday coming up.
Yes.
So we'll see you all on the battlefield. He'll be warming up in his M44. You'll be wrecking face in your
KV5
KV5,
most likely.
IS6,
IS6, IS3. It's a lot of Russian bias.
and I'll
there.
be pootling around in my Cruiser 4
yeah.
because those both are guns for the win.
Tuk, tuk.
We'll see you all on the battlefield.
We can make tank noises all day long.
Is that a tank noise? Is that a tank
That's
noise?
a tank. That's trundling along.
I do like the reloading noise. You like
Is that the reloading noise?
Oh,
Yeah.
I should really switch
Zoom
my
in a little bit.
speakers on.
Yeah, zoom in just a little bit so that you get almost inside the tank. Actually, you should be inside the
you're right.
tank, and all of a sudden you just hear it that much better.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
Use your zoom wheel and just zoom in and out. You can get different sounds from zooming in and out.
I forget about that. It's
Yeah,
true.
it's fantastic. Yeah, mind blown.
You're so focused on winning, causing damage, you forget these little nuances.
The ambiance is where it's at.